welcome back to my channel. So today, let's do a book journal. So I used to have a book journal. I tried looking for it, but I can't find it anywhere. I don't know where it is, but I used to have like a physical copy of like a book journal that I would use to like write down like, oh, the book and then the ranking and then put like a nice little like recap of what the book was and then give my opinion. And then on the side, my favorite part was always like printing out pictures and then making this aesthetic board of what the book gave. And it was so fun, but I never really had time for it because it took always too long. And like when I wanted to give the summary, I was always like, what do I write? I want to write spoilers, but at the same time, is this for me or is it for other people? My intentions were never really clear, so I was never really sure. But now I have been seeing like book journals all over my For You page on TikTok, and I can't anymore. I need to make my own. And before, I didn't used to have an iPad and a pen and good notes. Now I do. So we are going to make our own book journal today so that I can use it for the rest of the year, because the ideas that people have isn't like they're insane, and I need to do it because it's so cool and I want to do that too. So these are the ideas that I saw online that I really want to do as well. So one of them is like for the first page to just be like a bookshelf with a bunch of books. That's the number of books I'm aiming to read this year. So for me it would be 50 books. So I put 50 books on all the shelves. And then as I read a book, I get to color the book in, but I color it with the rating that I gave it. So I get one color associated for 1 star, for 2 star, for 3 star, for 4 star, and for 5 star. And then at the end of the year, I get to like look at this bookshelf and it's in color coded based on my rating of it, and I really love that. I think that's such a cool idea. So I want to do that. Another one that I've never heard of before that's such a good idea is an alphabet reading challenge. So I put like a page and then I put all the letters of the alphabet, and my goal is to try to read a book for every letter of the alphabet. That is so smart. I've never thought of doing that, and that's actually such a fun challenge, and I want to try doing that because I'm reading more books than there are letters of the alphabet, so I can do it. I believe in myself. So that is something I want to do. Another one is to do like a top 15 of 2025, because that way, but when I get to the end of the year, I'm not like struggling to be like, oh, what am I gonna pick now? So like if I get a book that I'm like, oh, this is a 4 star, I'll put it down, but I can always erase it and then replace it. So, or just like move it around. So that's really fun. So I'm gonna do that too. And then I'm gonna do monthly faves, because that'll save me at the end of the year when I have to show what my monthly faves were, or if I want to do a video of monthly faves, I don't have to try to go back in my memory and be like, what did I read that month? Which one's my favorite? So I want to do that. Okay, and then with that like monthly faves, I'm gonna do a bracket. So a 2025 book of the year bracket. So then every single time I put a monthly phase, not phase, fave, I'll put it in the book bracket, or like if there's other books that I really liked that I'm like, oh, I have to switch this around. I like this book better. Like there were 2 books that month that were like 5 stars, and then I switch it around. So then that way I have like this bracket that I can do like, oh, which one's my favorite to get to my favorite book of the year. I think that's such a cool idea. So why only do it for sports? I want to do it for books also. That's so fun. And then finally, to just keep doing what I used to do, but like simplify it for myself and not have as much stuff to do. So just do like a page where I say the book, I say the rating, not necessarily put the dates. I feel like that was always so hard for me because I don't remember every single time what day I start and what day I finish. Sometimes I don't even read in between, so I don't like writing that because it's not an accurate portrayal of how long it took me to read the book. And then I'll put the aesthetic pictures again, and it'll be so much easier because I don't have to print them. I can just put them, which is so fun. And then do like a small, and then like do a small little, and then that'll be that. And then while I like, and I can film that every single time. So more content for you guys, more content ideas for me, and I don't need to necessarily write like the summary or write the like rating, like a full rating of like how I felt. I can just say it out loud, because I also feel like that was always a drag because I never knew how to put my words into writing. Like I always think of like 2-3 sentences, but I don't feel like that ever does it really justice. But that way I can just do like the one sentence, and then the rest of the time I'm talking to you guys and you get the memo of what I thought and what the book was about. So those are my ideas of what I want to do. So we're gonna do that today. We're gonna create this whole book journal. I'm so like that. Yeah. Also, I finally did my nails. I did March coated nails, the blue and the green, for St. Patty's Day, and just because, you know, the sun is a nice blue again. Let's get this started. Hi. So I worked a bunch on the book journal last night. Basically finished it. The only part I have left is to do a few more of the book reviews at the end. But I thought I'll do one of them with you guys so you can kind of see what I'm doing, and you can give me other ideas of things I could maybe add or I could switch up that could be cute. So the first page we have is my bookshelf. I color coded everything and I wrote their names and everything. It looks so cute. So for this I just found a template online, and I just took the template, I took a screenshot of it, and then I put it on my thing. There's more than 50 books, so that's good for me. Then the alphabet reading challenge, same thing. I kind of just took a picture of something that I found online. I was like, oh, this is cute. And then I put some little stickers on the sides. And I started filling some out because none of the books so far I've had are repeats. The only thing that I wasn't sure of, which I need your guys' opinion on, is do I count the thes or do I not? Because, for example, I read The Crash. Does that count as a T because of the? Or does it count as a C because we just forget that the is there and it would be the before it, crash, like I wrote here, which is why I left a bunch of question marks because I don't know what to do for that one. So please give me your ideas. Then I love this page so much. I didn't know that you could crop the pictures freehand. So I would I would download pictures of little stickers that I liked, or go on Canva and screenshot the stickers that I really liked. And then all I have to do is click on it, click cropped and freehand, and I can probably show it with one of these. Let me just take a random ass picture. So let's do the star, for example. Oh wait, but I can show you guys this later actually, but whatever. Okay, so I do crop, I go on, there's rectangle and there's freehand. So I go on the freehand and then I just go around it. And then it's cropped it freehandedly so that now there's not a bunch of white everywhere. I could definitely do it better, but I kind of like that it's a little rough because it makes it more sticker-ish, I find. And it's so cute and I love it. So far I put 3 books because obviously Onyx Storm is going to be in my top 15 books of 2025. I don't even know what could beat this at the moment. It was just so good. And then I have Divine Rivals and Nothing Like the Movies because they're both 4 stars. So we'll see if anything ends up changing based on the other books that I read this year. Hopefully I read other 5 stars, so we'll see. So for now, they're just placed there like that. Next, we have the monthly faves. This one, same thing, just kind of took a screenshot of something I found online. I was like, oh, this is cute. Then arranged it so that it's the size that I want it to be. And so far, January, obviously, was Onyx Storm. Such a good book. And then for February, I picked Nothing Like the Movies because that month I read Nothing Like the Movies, Throne of the Fallen, and The Crash, and out of all 3 of them, Nothing Like the Movies was the one that I preferred. Next we have the book bracket, which I started, and then for the book bracket, this one also, I didn't create it, just took a picture online, and it goes there's 3 at the top, so it's basically January versus February, and then February versus March. So February always has that second chance. Well, not February, but that middle one always has a second chance. And it's fine, I don't really care. So that's that. So far, Onyx Storm is leading, but Nothing Like the Movies might come back if I don't read a book this month that I like better. And then the ratings page, it's so aesthetic. I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. Yeah, so I did Divine Rivals because that's the first book that I read this year. I gave it 4 stars. So basically I did the text and I picked a font that I found gave typewriter for Divine Rivals. And then afterwards I put the picture of the book and I went on Pinterest and I wrote Divine Rivals aesthetic, and then I took all the pictures I found matched the aesthetic and made this beautiful collage at the bottom because that was always my favorite part of making my book like ratings when I was doing it on paper was always making the collages. So this is so fun. I really loved making it. It took me a little while to kind of understand how to do it well on GoodNotes, but I'll show you guys how I do that for when we do the next one. And then I did little arrows to kind of give a description of what it is without having to actually write like a summary of everything. But it would just be a good way, like if people are like, oh, would I like it? I'll be like, do you like these words? Work rivals, historical setting, dual POVs, found family, and war between gods. Yes or no. From there, you'll be able to decide if you like it or not. The other thing is, I kind of wanted to add quotes, but I don't exactly know where I would add them and if I should. So you guys let me know what you think. If you think this is perfect and I shouldn't add anything else, or if I should try to find a way to add quotes, and if I should, where I could maybe add them, and, you know, like, whatever. Hi, Future Gail here. So I decided to actually add another thing because I really wanted to integrate the quotes. And also, as much as I love the other page and how aesthetic it is, it's very much more for the aesthetic that I love it, and it isn't really expressing my opinion as much. So I did want to add another page that expresses a bit more my opinion and my rating of it, so that when I do talk to you guys through these videos when I'm updating it, I can spend one more time like actually analyzing it on this page and then going through it aesthetically wise on the other page. So I'm going to show you guys the new page that I've decided to add. So this, once again, is a template. I did not create it. I do not have the skills, but I really love this template. It is so cute. So we do like a cute little book review. So I didn't do the quotes yet. But here I can write the title, the author, the genre, the number of pages, when it was published, and then the date that I read it. And then I can put the book cover. And then what I really love is the different ratings here. So there's the star ratings, so just how much do I give it in general, star-wise. So this one was a 4 on 5 star. Then there's tiers, like how much of a tearjerker is this book on 5 teardrops. This one didn't make me cry at all, so it's a nothing. And then spicy, like what is the spice level? I give it like half a pepper because there's mention of it, but there's no explicit scenes of it. And then afterwards, I'm gonna put quotes on the side. I could put thoughts too if I have like little thoughts, but I'm mostly gonna put quotes. And then afterwards, what I really like is this analysis section to really break down what did I like, what didn't I like of the book, because I feel like this will help me even analyze books when I'm talking about them later on in the long run as well. It'll be easier to conserve my thoughts if I don't film right after I finish reading. So the different points there are is the quality of the writing. So for Divine Rivals, I gave this an 8 out of 10. The quality of the writing was really well done. I really loved the way it was written, but it definitely had other moments where I was like, the quality of the writing doesn't feel as strong as other parts. Like, it's not the best writing I've ever seen, but it's still pretty good. Next, the pace. I gave it a 7 on 10. The pace felt kind of chunky for me. I think that's one of the things I liked less. Sometimes it was going too fast and sometimes it was going too slow. So the pacing was uneven for me. So that's why I gave it a 7. It wasn't necessarily like a horrible uneven, but it did like take me a little while to get into the middle section of it because it felt like uneven pacing at that point, and sometimes it was slow, sometimes it was fast. Then the plot development, I give it an 8 on 10. The plot is pretty solid. I definitely like it, but the plot development itself is pretty slow. So that's why it's only an 8 on 10. The characters, I give it a 9 on 10. I really love Iris and Kit. I think they're super cute, but they're not characters that I think about every single day and night, which is why they're not a 10. But if not, overall, they are really great characters, and they really do have an amazing relationship between them. Next to the enjoyability, I give it an 8 on 10. It's definitely something I enjoyed reading, but it's nothing that I'm like, oh wow, now I fully understand why Book Talk was talking about this. It's just more like, oh, okay, I see the hype. I'm just not gonna hype about it the same way. Ease of reading, 9 on 10, really easy to read. I almost gave it a 10 on 10, but I find when something's easy to read, that means that it's so easy to read, it's so enjoyable that it's so easy to read as well. Not just that it's simple in a way that's easy and straightforward to the point or something like that, but that it's so enjoyable that I'm in the world constantly, which is why it's easy to read, and I feel like that's the aspect I was missing. I wasn't always in the world. And then finally the ending, I gave it a 9 on 10. I really enjoyed that ending. It was really well done. but there were definitely things that I was still confused about, which is why it's missing that little thing to give it a 10 on 10. I'm sure the like confusing ending is meant to be there, but because I didn't enjoy the book necessarily as other people might have enjoyed it more than me, and that ending was perfect for them, I did really enjoy the ending. It's just nothing that made me go like, oh my god, I need to get the next book now. I liked it a lot. I'm not saying I didn't like it, but it was missing that little thing. It wasn't like an Onyx Storm ending where I was jumping up and down screaming at my book. That kind of difference. So that's basically the thing that I'm adding for every single book now. I haven't done it for everything yet, as you can see, since I didn't do the quotes for this one yet. But I'm going to be integrating this into my book journal so that I can have a little more of a rating aspect in this as well, other than... Next we have Onyx Storm, 5 stars. So then same thing here. I did the little arrows, romanticy, spicy, dragons, quest, found family, and then all the beautiful pictures. Obviously had to include broccoli. I'm not going to say who broccoli is, because those who read Onyx Storm know who broccoli is. For everybody else, I can't wait for you to meet broccoli. And then, it's so good. And I put like a Venom picture because he got the red eyes now. It's just, it's so good. I loved making this. Hi, Future Gale again. So, I was going to show you guys how I made the Throne of the Fallen page, but big mistake by me. Was not recording my screen. I know, I'm really sorry. So you get to see what the ending result was like, but I've decided to show you instead a new page of another book that I read and how I'm gonna be making that one. You know what? It's gonna be more enjoyable for me anyways, because that book that I'm gonna be reading, I'm gonna be reading is Sunrise on the Reaping. So I am really excited about this and to read this with you guys. So we are definitely gonna be getting into this. So we'll do that instead. But I don't think there's more that I have to talk about, so I guess I just take over at this point. I don't remember what Pascal said. So here we have the final Throne of the Fallen page, and obviously the first word I had to write down was spicy, because this is the ultimate spice book. All the time, they're always talking about spice, which was what was less enjoyable for me. Like, I do like the spicy talk, but like it was too much. Like at this point it was too much. That's like all they talked about for most of the book. So like that's why it's a 3-star. I mean, the dialogue was fun, but at one point it got really repetitive and I got sick of it at one point. At other points, I really loved the Regency time, and I wish they had gone back to it more often, because that was probably one of my favorite parts of the book, was when they were still having to be proper for society, but knowing these people aren't actually proper in reality. Like, you have a Prince of Sin here, and he's trying to be proper for reality. So I really liked those. So I kind of wanted that to come back a bit more. But I definitely do love the game. I wish that the game had been more complex in a way, that it wasn't taking so long to do each single part of the game. So, but I did enjoy the concept of the game and why the game are high stakes for him. It took me a really long time to understand fully like what it meant, like what his council was actually going through. But yeah, I think that this is definitely a book for people who like spiciness, who definitely like the Princes of Sin idea, who like Fae and Demon. Like, this is definitely gonna be a good book for you. It's a chunker, but like it does fly by pretty fast for like a chunky book. Like, it didn't feel that long, which I'm happy about. And it has a really great aesthetic. Honestly, it has a really good aesthetic. But my favorite part is for sure like the Regency time aspect of this. I think it was really well done and it was really well incorporated, and I just wanted more of that. So that's basically my whole thoughts about Throne of the Fallen. Next we have Nothing Like the Movies. So this one, such a cute aesthetic, so easy. I had too many pictures that I liked for this one, which was the problem. I really love Lynn Painter. Like, she knows how to write books so well, and I loved the references in this book. But at the same time, I feel like it would be a downfall for a lot of readers, these references, because this time there were Gilmore Girls references, but these are Gilmore Girls references that you're only going to get if you have watched Gilmore Girls. Being an avid Gilmore Girls fan, this hit home for me, loved it, was one of the reasons I was like, this is going to be a great book. But I also put myself in the mindset of, what if I'm not a Gilmore Girls fan and I'm not getting these references? It would feel like a waste of time. So I'm happy she didn't put too many, but at the same time, she should have maybe put more popular Gilmore Girls references, just for the sheer fact that it's not as fun for those who haven't seen Gilmore Girls to then get these references. But I personally enjoyed it. So yeah, bring more on the Gilmore Girls references. I'm gonna be happy about it. I love their banter. It's so cute. But I have to say, by the end, I was just waiting for them to get together because we all know they were gonna get back together. It's a second chance romance at this point, and it's Liz and Wes. What are we expecting? So I was just kind of there, like, okay, enough. Why is she still pushing? Enough. Like, actually have them have a conversation if it's gonna be about them not wanting to be together, or like, just stop making her go, I don't know. I don't know. Like, that part at the end, I got slightly annoyed, which is why it's not a 5-star. I think that's basically the thing that I didn't like as much, that was kind of keeping it from becoming a 5-star. I love Wes. I want a Wes. Give me a Wes. He's perfect. He's handsome. He's everything. This book made me have unrealistic expectations in men. Again. What's new? Okay, next we have The Crash. So Freida McFadden never disappoints, but I have to say, disappointed slightly. Like, not that much, but I definitely, her other two, the housemaid and the boyfriend, were better than The Crash for sure. Because I feel like The Crash was basically just a big miscommunication trope. Like, everyone was just miscommunicating the entire way through, which I found annoying. Like, it was fun at the beginning, but then it just kept going, and I was like, okay, are they dumb at this point? Like, it just felt like every character was dumb at that point, and I really hate the ending. I don't want to say anything about the ending to spoil anything for everybody, but I really don't enjoy the ending. If you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't fit with the thriller aspect. It doesn't fit with her past books aspects either. So I just don't like the way that it ends. I love the fact, though, that the main character is a pregnant female. I find that we don't have a lot of those books, especially in a thriller aspect. So I found that very interesting, and how that changes the stakes entirely, because it's not just your life you're fighting for your child's life as well. Yeah. There's definitely things that, like, if I could, like, change, I would have changed. There's other things that I also love. Like, this book definitely creeped me out. I have to say, the creep factor on this book was at a 100. I was creeped out the whole entire way through. It was well done. It didn't help as well that the week that I was reading this, I had a power outage and I was in a snowstorm. So that just made it feel even more alive to me. So I was freaked out while reading this book. So it's definitely creepy. It gave me the creepy vibes, which I loved. I was like, this is good. This is the part that I like. I was scared, but there's definitely things that I would have tweaked to just, like, make me a little less annoyed while reading it. Next, well, this is this month, but we're gonna be doing Sunrise on the Read thing later, so might as well. We're just gonna do March, even though March isn't over yet. So the first book I read in March is Shadow Queen, which is the second book in the North Queen series. I gotta say, don't love it as much as I did love North Queen. I felt that the pacing was a little slow at some points. I would say there's some uneven pacing for me. But the thing that I think bothered me the most in this book was the characters. Because the storyline was really good. I love all the different plot points and the different things that are, like, kind of keeping them from accomplishing things, or the different struggles. Like, there's a new bad guy that's introduced. Love the new bad guy. So well done. Like, I'm so interested. Like, the world is so cool. We're learning more about the politics, which is so fun, and how complicated it is. We have new favorite characters, new romances, and it's really fun. But my biggest complaint is the characters themselves. I love Nora, especially in the first book. She's like this, like, strong female that's in, like, this male dominated field, and she's like, I'm gonna be the boss bitch and I'm gonna be the girl, you know. But as much as she did that this book, she also when it came to relationships, kept throwing herself into very toxic scenarios, whether it was platonic relationships or romantic relationships. She kept making the toxic decision, which I found very annoying. And I wish that she wasn't, because she's so smart in every other aspect. And I find it very annoying that, like, when it comes to the romance aspect, she's gonna fall into this toxicity over and over constantly. So I would have understood for some parts, but just because it progressed throughout the entire book to continually choose the toxic relationships in her life, I found that annoying. Michael, honestly, the first book I was a bit more like, ooh, Shadow King. This book was like, okay, I'm not that interested in you. Like, there were some cute lines, some cute things, but honestly, there was something that was making me go, like, want to drop my panties for him or anything. Which is necessary when we're reading fictional men, you know? If they're gonna be fake, we gotta make them, like, completely, like, hot, you know? And he wasn't. He wasn't in my eyes. What is hot is Alexander. He's hot, and I love him, and I feel like Alexander was done really dirty in this book. Like, the whole beginning of the book, I love him. He's so well done. Love triangle is bombing, and then towards 60% of the book, I don't know what happens to Alexander, but he has a default. Like, he's sent home, and ugh, it was so, no. I just didn't like it at all. I didn't like what was done to him. I didn't like how fast she made him move on. Like, it didn't make sense, because he's not even moved on, though. Because we know what's gonna happen and other things. Trying not to spoil. Other things are gonna happen, and we know that means he can't have moved on. So why is he moving on, like, right away? And it's just like the sheer fact he's going, like, it was never love. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's not true. And I just find it really annoying, especially because I am fine if Alexander and Nora don't end up together, but they need to actually have a closing arc and have something happen between them so they can fully acknowledge, oh, we shouldn't be together. And have a talk, have an opportunity for them to actually be together before saying they're not going to be together. Because if not, it's just going to always be a big what if, and that's going to be so annoying. So I think that that's definitely something that bothered me for this book. But Soren became my baby. I love him, and I can't wait for the next book just for him. I bought it and I started it just because I miss Soren, and he's not even there yet. So yeah, that's Shadow Queen. So we're gonna be continuing on with Sunrise on the Reaping now. Okay, so let's move on to Sunrise of the Reaping, and I'm gonna show you guys how I basically make these aesthetic pages. So let's do some pictures. So we have our little sunrise on the reaping. So sad that the reaping is his birthday. Honestly, that's like the saddest thing. I never noticed that there's a rainbow to kind of show that it's Lucy Gray. She is the rainbow. Mockingjay. I really love this book, honestly, just for the sheer fact of all the dang references that there are. It's so cool. I'm like, oh my god, it's Katniss's daddy, or like, oh my god, that must be Peeta's daddy, you know? It's a good thing I didn't see any of Gale's family, because I would have thrown stuff. Yeah. I you know, he kind of butchered me, you know? My name is Gale. He's making my name sound bad. We can't have that. We can't have that. I'm a good person and he's making me seem like a bad one. Okay, I definitely have more pictures than I needed. Ah, shoot, didn't mean to duplicate it. But it's really easy. All you just do is like arrange, send to the back, send to the front. It's just this over and over and over again. Okay, so this one we're gonna actually crop before we do anything, just because we don't need the full thing. We'll actually just take this specific lyric here. I wish it wasn't orange like this, but it is what it is. You know, because Snow always lands on top. He's got to be at the top of the page. This one too, we're going to crop it. Done. This, just into the back. Maybe I'll move the odds are never in our favor down here, actually. And then I can... Yeah, come back. Alcohol. Okay. That. I'll move the sweetheart to the side. There we go. And Snow can come down here. And you know what, Snow? You get sent to the back. There we go. So now that's done. It's so pretty. Now we're going to take our stars and we're going to rank them. So I gave this, So I gave this book a nice 4.75. The only thing that's missing to make this book a 5-star is really just the plot holes. And this could become a 5-star if all the plot holes are answered. Because, yeah. I honestly really love this book. I read it so fast. I love Hunger Games. It is my favorite series of all time. And I really, really enjoyed it. I think really the only complaint I have is just there was, after it finished, I still had a lot of questions left. So if Suzanne Collins doesn't create another book, I don't give her as high of a rating. If she does make another book, she gets a higher rating. Oh my god, can you stop? I hate when it does this. I'm a nice person. Just become tiny. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I need my pen, which is behind you guys. Hold on. You guys go there while I find my pen. There we go. All the way at the bottom. You're gonna see that when I try to talk while creating this page, it doesn't work well. I don't have enough concentration for it. So, yeah, there's gonna be less talking than I'd like. Yeah, there were just like plot holes left, like plot holes about like Mags and Wirus. Like, I still have questions about that. Not everything has been answered. And like, I feel like the only way it can be answered is if there would be a book where they're mentioned again, because they can't have their own solo books because we know too much about them to have a solo book. But I think it would be really perfect for them to have like cameos in other books, you know? Like for Wirus, if we do a book about Beatty, because honestly, Beatty was mentioned, but not enough. Like, his story is so tragic. Give me the full rundown. I still have more questions because there's things that were said that I'm like, wait, but he doesn't talk about these things in the other books. Does that mean they're dead? So I really want to know those things. So I think a book about Beatty would be great. I'd love to know more about Beatty. If not, the book that I need, like I really need, that I will have a revolution. I will like go full on Hunger Games on her ass if she doesn't create, is a Finnick book. I need it, and I need it now. It is so needed. He is my favorite character. He is my baby. I am his wife. Any Krista who? Gail Kemp-Germain is his wife, okay? Yeah, no. I need a Finnick book because it would be so interesting because he's the youngest. First of all, he's the youngest Victor, you know? So that would be such an interesting book to have because he's the youngest Victor. And then he would also have all the prostitution stuff. Like, I really would want to know more about that. Like, know what he went through. And then, you know how he tells Katniss he stopped stealing, he didn't deal with money. He dealt with secrets. People would pay him in secrets. So he must know about, like, tons of stuff that Snow doesn't want anybody to know about, right? Like, he must know about Lucy. Like, what if that was a secret somebody told him? It was about Lucy Gray, and he knows that. Like, that would be so cool and so interesting. So, I really, really want a Finnick book. But Haymitch's story is so sad. I feel so bad. I cried when I finished the book. Like, the way that it ends made me cry. Like, as much as I wish there would have been another chapter in his... Whoop, I made this a 5-star thing instead. I have to take off one little leg, so it's 75. There you go. As much as I really, really wanted another... Like, I wanted a little more about his adult life. Just, like, one chapter where you talk about his adult life a little more. I do appreciate that it is only an epilogue. It makes more sense, like, book-wise. But I definitely wanted to know more about, like, Haymitch and, like, the drinking a little more than just, like, oh, I understand why now. Like, I wanted a little more detail about that, but it wasn't that bad because the way that it was written made me cry. I was like, this explains so many things, and all I want to do now is rewatch The Hunger Games so that I can like watch all the little Easter eggs and reread The Hunger Games so I can see all the little Easter eggs for Haymitch, because there's so many things now that I'm like, oh my god, that's why he reacted that way. Oh my goodness, that's why he says this. And it's just... And every new song has a new meaning now, so... No. Like, the old There Before is so sad now. I can't listen to the song the same way anymore. So, yeah. Let's move on to the arrows. So now we're going to write everything about what we want to do. So we're going to write, like... I for sure wrote dystopian wrong because there's a Y in dystopian. There we go. I'm gonna make grammar mistakes because even though I'm a writer, I have ADD, so I make grammar mistakes. Okay, another thing that we can write is revolution, I guess. Revolution. Found family, for sure. I'll write that it's like a prequel. Imagine all the people who haven't read Hunger Games and who get to just like read it in order. Like, they read the Snow's book, now they're gonna read Haymitch's, and then they'd read Katniss's story. How different is that? Like, you must see everybody different ways. Like, you must not hate Snow as much by doing that. I still hate him. Like, I want to throw, like, even though Snow had some shit happen to him, what shit is it really, though? He created all the bad stuff that happened to him. So, I don't feel bad for him at all. What else? We could do... I'm gonna write violence because honestly, out of all the books, this one has been the most violent one. Honestly, there were some scenes that I was like, how are they gonna make this into a movie? Like, there's certain characters' deaths. I know people who read this know what I'm talking about. They were so gruesome that I'm like, how are you gonna show that on TV and have it be like okay for little kids to see that? Because, like, I don't know if I'm okay to see that. Especially because it's not just anyone who's dying. Like, it's people that, like, you form a closer bond to because you're reading the book. And this time they actually take the time to bond with every single tribute. So it hurts every time someone dies. It's like, I don't know. I need to be in that movie, though. Like, put me as an extra and I will be so happy. The other thing that sucks though is it's gonna be harder to like. There's not gonna be as many extras because all the tributes, because you all have a name for them, they all don't count as extras because they're all gonna have like a line or like solo screen time by themselves of like, oh, here's blah blah, and then that changes it. Unless they decide not to show everybody, then you could be an extra as a tribute. If not, you can't. So it's not like the other ones where it would be a little more different. Considering that they're actually going to be really accurate to the book like the other time, so I don't know what else I would add. I don't know. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys think of anything, you let me know. Yeah, so there you go. That's how I made a page. It's cute. So that's how I do this. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'm tired. And all my books are officially on my dad's, so I'll hopefully be making a video where I remake my bookshelf. I'm so excited. I miss my books. They're all in boxes. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe here on my Instagram, on my TikTok. I post a lot. I love you guys.